sincere seeking is all that is needed for spirituality and to be successful with spiritual experience. Start with the Sadguru Vandanam. Nityanandam Paramasukhadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasya Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Triguna-rahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Yes, Nityanandam, I'm back with my SAKSHI Pramana, which is witness reference from using the two projects, well actually from participating in two projects and from using the techniques given by Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Sri Nityananda Paramashivam. So the two projects are Jeevan Mukti Grantha, which is the Living Enlightenment book, and the Samipya Mukti project. So these two projects. In Samipya Mukti, I'll start with that first. Actually, something amazing has happened. So Samipya Mukti is visualizing myself sitting with the Mahavakya on Om Nityananda ParamashivOham, which means I am Paramashiva. Sitting with that Mahavakya, chanting, reverberating in my inner space, and visualizing myself with 25 heads, 50 hands, and 75 eyes. Very simple, you would have thought. I was able to sit for a little longer today than yesterday, but even the few minutes that I sat yesterday gave a huge breakthrough for me. And it actually is a sequence of events. That's why sincerity is what is required. So sincerely, I take part in all my spiritual practices through the day. And when I say practices, I mean different activities. Spiritual activities is more like it, through the day. And what brought me more clarity about myself as Paramashiva is the Vakyartha-Sadas, which is a very healthy discussion. One would call it debate, but it's a healthy discussion that happened in the evening, which I was participating in, and I was live on Facebook with a group of my spiritual buddies. So I was in the space of, well, actually, when I am, angry or upset, which is an incompletion, it's a lower vibration, I am not Paramashiva in those moments in time. But Swamiji has said that you are, even your incompletions are Paramashiva. I do remember him saying that. But during the discussion, the debate, I decided I'm going to say, no, I disagree with that, because that was something that was happening in me at that moment in time. Although intellectually, all I had heard Swamiji share, I was not convinced of that. So during the discussion, it so came about, the whole point came about that even during that times you are Paramashiva, even that times you are super consciousness. Then a few days ago, actually it clicked, because during the discussion, this didn't come up, but one of the other people mentioned something about identity. And then I remember reading this particular quote, which I wrote down I actually found it on the 10th of March, and yesterday was the 13th of March when we had this discussion. This is why I call them pieces of the puzzle, pieces of the jigsaw puzzle. It all comes together. It drives me closer to me experiencing myself as super consciousness. So this is what I'm going to read it out to you, because I wrote it in my Book of Hearts. Remember the Book of Hearts? So on the 10th of March, you see the 10th of March, I wrote that quote. And then on the 13th of March, I rewrote it because I got a click, and I'll share that click. So it reads, actually, the identity is restricted will. When patterns, so actually the identity is restricted will. When patterns and restrictions drop, you experience pure will. Pure will is Sadashiva's will. So even identity is restricted will. That's what gave me a huge click, and I was like, wow, then I am Paramashiva. In a different way, I am Paramashiva. Restricted, but I am Paramashiva. So that gave me a huge, a click. I was like, oh, so I don't have to wait to be super consciousness. I am super consciousness. It's not about perfection. It's about accepting as things as they are. And that for me, I'm not saying that this is the be all and end all, this is it, I've arrived. I'm not saying that. I'm saying something big has happened for me where I've stopped since last night fighting. I feel like I'm there. I feel like I don't need to struggle. I don't need to be upset about my upsets. It's like something has settled since I cognized that actually right now I am that. So it's not a bunch of words. It's something that has come alive. Something that's really, really come alive for me. So that was yesterday. And I'm happy to see where this journey is going. I'm actually having fun and seeing where this journey is going. Now, for the next bit is the Jeevan Mukti Grantha. So we're going to do the Jeevan Mukti Grantha, see what are the pages that come up. So I'll chant the Mahavakya. Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. $99 and $51. $99 and $51. I'm just going to make a quick note of that because sometimes when I'm reading, I'm going to read it in that sequence. 99 first and then 51. So what is 99? I'll read an excerpt from that and see how that connects back. So if you are just aware, the suffering itself can open your eyes to the unreality of suffering. The Master Bodhidharma says, every suffering is a Buddha seed. Suffering can propel you to become a Buddha. It can bring you the wisdom of knowing all about life and reality. He says, don't be against suffering. Feel grateful to suffering and pain because they create the situation for you to search for the truth. Otherwise, you will just live life like a rock or plant. You will not realize the ultimate, which can only be achieved by the human consciousness. So that's, what was I talking about just now? About accepting things as is. And I've just picked out these numbers in front of you. So this is not like a pre-planned script. So on is 51. 51 is get out of your comfort zone. This comes up for me again and again. If you really want to come out of your worries, you will come out right now without suffering, without trying to justify any of your worries. Sorry, there's no word, the word of suffering is not there. So I'll read it again. Get out of your comfort zone. If you really want to come out of your worries, you will come out right now without trying to justify any of your worries. The thing is, our very worries become our comfort zone. We hide in them. Hiding and merely talking about them helps us to remain lazy. So these are the two excerpts that have come up. And I can see that if I decide, it's a vicious circle, isn't it? Not accepting myself, then which just pushes me back into fear, pushes me back into my comfort zone. And therefore, I don't decide to change the things I want to change. Anyway, I promised to keep the video short, so I'm going to allow myself to internalize this a lot more and wait for the next click that's going to happen. Let's end with the Purna Mantra. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat Sarvam Bhagavate Shri Nityananda Paramashiva Padukarpanamastu. Om Nityanandam.